I've spent 20 years in fitness, so you don't have to. These 19 things would have got you results from day one. If you're new here, my name's Kyle. I'm a nutrition coach. And the honest truth is this. Most of what I see people doing in the gym and in the kitchen is making fat loss harder than it needs to be. These 19 cheat codes is what I tell every single client. Each one is actionable, and some of them are going to surprise you, especially number 7. Now, I've set up chapters for each one down in the description, so you're welcome to skip to the ones that are most relevant to you, but I recommend staying here for all 19 just so you can see each one in detail. All right, let's get into it. So the first one is eat the same meals. Let me save you some time. Stop looking for variety if you want to lose fat. The leanest people I know eat the exact same meals on repeat. And I know what you're thinking. What about balance? What about enjoying the food? And here's the thing. I'm not telling you to eat boiled chicken and rice forever. I'm telling you that variety is actually what's keeping you stuck. There's a concept called decision fatigue. Every time you ask yourself, what should I eat today? You're burning mental energy. And that mental energy, it runs out. And when it runs out, you usually end up in the drive-thru. So first things first, when you eat the same meals, you know exactly what's in them. Calories, protein, carbs, fat, everything. There's no guessing. And guessing is where fat loss goes to die. Second thing is you stop overthinking food. You don't need willpower when there's no decision to make. The meal is already decided. You just have to go and eat it. And point number 3, this is the big one. You stop responding to food noise. You know that thing where you're scrolling and suddenly you feel hungry even though you just ate an hour ago? That's food noise. And eating the same predictable meals quiets it. So let's take me as an example. Right now, I've got 3 meals that I rotate. Breakfast is the same every day of the week. Lunch is the difference between 2 meals, and I'm leaner than I've ever been in years. Not because I'm disciplined, but because I make it boring. And here's the thing, boring is the strategy. You don't need a new meal plan every week. You need 2 or 3 meals that actually hit your protein target and that you enjoy and that you can make without even thinking. Build your rotation, eat it on repeat, watch what happens to your body after 30 days. That's it. That's the whole thing. Not complicated, just consistent. So number 2 is creatine. And first things first, if there was only one supplement I could take forever, it would be creatine. And it's not just for muscles, because creatine has this reputation, right? It's for the guys in the gym who want to get massive. It's for athletes. It's not for you. And I get it. If you're a busy mom or dad, why do you need creatine? Well, if you're trying to lose fat, trying to feel better, trying to get some mental clarity, creatine is your answer. And here's the thing. Creatine is the most researched supplement on the planet. Not one of the most researched. And a huge chunk of that research has nothing to do with muscle. So yes, it does help with your muscles. Research has shown that taking it properly can give you a 2% increase on your lean mass. Creatine helps your body produce more ATP. That's your energy currency during exercise. More ATP means more strength, more reps, and more muscle over time. And if you're trying to lose fat, keeping your muscle while you're in a calorie deficit is one of the most important things you can do. And creatine helps exactly with that. Second thing is, and this is where it gets interesting, your brain runs on creatine too. Studies have shown how creatine helps with memory, mental clarity, and processing speed. And here's the part where it got my attention. The research shows it's especially effective when you're sleep deprived. Sound familiar? As a dad myself, I'm very familiar with being sleep deprived. If you're a parent of young kids, your brain is running on creatine fumes every single morning. And this is the supplement for that. And point number 3, it's cheap, it's safe, and it has been studied for decades. There are no serious side effects in the research. You don't have to cycle it, you don't have to load it. And if you want to know more about creatine, I go into a bit of depth into this video, so go check it out. I take creatine 3 times a day, morning, lunch, and evening. Just 1 4-gram scoop. And that seems to do me really well. They say around 5 grams for the effects in the gym, and up to 15 or more for mental clarity. So here's all you need to know. 5 grams a day of creatine monohydrate, the basic unflavored kind. Doesn't really matter when you take it, in the morning or post-workout or with your coffee, just as long as you take it at the same time every day. And I'll put a link in the description to the creatine that I use. That's it. No complicated stack, no expensive brand. Cheapest tub you can find is usually the same as the premium brand. Buy it from a reputable source, take it daily, and watch the difference you'll feel after 30 days. All right, number 3 is alcohol. You're playing the fat loss game on extreme hard mode if you're still drinking. Let me explain why. Look, I'm not here to tell you to never drink alcohol again. That's your call. But I want you to understand exactly what alcohol does inside your body while you're trying to lose fat, because most people have no idea. And once you know, you'll be able to make a smarter decision. And here's the thing, alcohol isn't just empty calories. It's actually a lot worse than that. So first things first, your body treats alcohol like a poison, because technically it is. And the second it enters your system, your body drops everything else and focuses entirely on getting rid of that poison. Fat burning stopped. Protein synthesis on pause. Your metabolism is running one job only, getting rid of that alcohol. And that can last for hours. Second thing is, alcohol spikes your cortisol. That's the hormone that tells your body it's in stress. Elevated levels of cortisol tells your body to hold on to fat, especially around your stomach. It acts as a survival and defense mechanism. So you're not just pausing fat loss, actively signaling to your body to store more of it. Point number 3, this one's underrated, but alcohol destroys your sleep quality. And here's the thing about sleep and fat loss. When you sleep badly, your sleep hormones go haywire. Ghrelin, your hunger hormone, goes up. Leptin, your fullness hormone, goes down. So the day after a few drinks, you're biologically hungrier than normal. The pizza at midnight wasn't weak willpower. It was your hormones doing exactly what the alcohol was telling them to do. So let's be real here. It's not as if you're never going to drink ever again. But at least now you'll know exactly what you're doing. You're pressing pause on fat loss for that period of time. You're accepting the cortisol hit, and you're planning for the next day to be harder. And that's the trade-off. And here's the thing, that's fine as a conscious choice. What kills progress is people drinking every single weekend, wondering why the scale isn't moving and blaming everything else. So if fat loss is your goal right now, here's what I'd actually say. Dial it back for 30 days. Not forever, 30 days. See what happens to your sleep, your energy, your body composition. I'm confident the results will tell you everything you need to know. And if you do drink, choose the low sugar options, slightly less volume. Make sure you've got your nutrition locked in before you go out. Don't drink on empty calories and then make decisions about food when you're really hungry. All right, point number 4 is the water system. And here's the water system I use to keep my clients full and hydrated. It's simple, but it works. Most people only drink water when they're thirsty. But here's the thing. If you're thirsty, it's already too late. But more importantly for fat loss, when you drink water matters just as much as how much water you drink. Because water is one of the most underrated appetite suppressants you have access to. It's free, it's always available, and most people are using it completely wrong. So here's exactly how it works. First thing in the morning, you drink 500 milliliters of water as soon as you wake up. Before your coffee, before your phone, before you do anything. You've just gone 7 or 8 hours without drinking water. Your body's dehydrated, your metabolism is slow, so let's fix that. Fix that first. Then, before every single meal, another 500 milliliters of water. And this is the important part. You're not just hydrating, you're physically stretching your stomach before the food goes in, which means you'll feel full faster, eat less, and you won't even realize it. And that's appetite suppression without willpower. And then after the meal, another 500 milliliters. This keeps you full till your next meal and stops that I'm hungry again already feeling. That most people misread as hunger, and it's actually just thirst. And the one rule here is don't drink while you're eating. When you drink while you're eating, you dilute your digestive enzymes. That slows digestion down and can actually lead to bloating. Save the water for before and after the meal. So on a day where you have 3 meals, if you have 500 before and after, that's 3.5 liters of water you've drank without even, really thinking about it. And here's the thing, you're not tracking it. You're not carrying around a giant water bottle with, fancy quotes on the side reminding you to drink it throughout the day. It's just a system that if you follow it will become a habit, and that's why it works. If fat loss is the goal, start here before you change anything else. Because half the time what you think is hunger is actually dehydration. And half the time you're overeating, it's because you sat down with an empty stomach and no buffer. 500 ml when you wake up, 500 ml before meal, after a meal. Write it on your hand if you have to. Number 5, slow eating. Stop treating dinner like it's a competitive eating contest. Put the phone down. Here's what's actually happening when you're eating while scrolling on a phone. Your brain is split between whatever you're watching and whatever you're eating. And because it's distracted, it's not processing the signals that your body is sending. Your stomach is full, but your brain hasn't got the memo yet. So you keep eating. And here's the thing, that signal takes about 20 minutes to arrive. 20 minutes. And if you finished your plate of food in 8 minutes, you've got 12 minutes of eating past the point where you're actually full. A couple of points on this one. The first point is satiety signals are hormonal. When food hits your stomach, your body releases hormones, leptin and cholecystokinin, that tell your brain, I'm full. But that process takes a bit of time. Slow eating gives those hormones a chance to do their job before you've already overeaten. Second thing is, when you're distracted, you don't actually taste the food. And here's the thing about that. Satisfaction comes from the experience of eating the food, not just the volume. When you're half watching a series or a movie, your brain doesn't register that the meal is complete. You finish the meal, but it still feels like something's missing. That's why you're back in the fridge 20 minutes later. And point number 3 is, eating slower physically changes how much you need to feel full. Studies have shown that people can eat up to 15% less just by eating slower. No calorie counting, no different food, same meal, slower pace, fewer calories consumed. That's a cheat code. We've all had that person around the dinner table who's finished before anybody else has even gotten started. And we've all been that person on the couch, plate empty, still hungry, having absolutely no memory of eating the meal. So here's what I tell my clients. Put the phone in the other room. Sit at a table and chew your food properly. Talk to the other person if you're eating with someone. And if you're on your own, just eat. No screen. 5 minutes of actually tasting your food will tell your body more than 20 minutes of distracted eating ever will. You want to take a rule from this. Put something down between bites. Whether it's your fork, your spoon, whatever it is. Between bites, just put it down. It forces a pause. It feels strange the first time, but completely natural by day 3. Slow eating isn't a diet. It isn't a restriction. You're eating the same food. You're just giving your body a chance to tell it when to stop. All right, the next one is the 20-minute rule. You think you're still hungry after dinner? Wait 20 minutes before grabbing that snack. We've all done it. Dinner's finished, plate's clear. You're standing in front of the fridge wondering what else there is to eat. But you just ate, and you ate a proper meal. However, somehow your body's telling you that it's still hungry. And here's the thing. Your body is lying to you. Not maliciously. Just hasn't caught up yet. And here's the science behind it. There's 2 mechanisms. The first one is a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin tells you that you're hungry. And the second one is leptin. Leptin tells you that you're full. And the problem is there's a delay in that system. From the moment you finish eating to the moment leptin reaches your brain and actually registers fullness, that process takes about 20 minutes. So if you're clearing your plate and immediately reaching for more, you're making that decision before your body has even had a chance to weigh in. You physically cannot know if you're still hungry yet. The signal hasn't arrived. And the second point is that feeling you think you're feeling of hunger after you've eaten, most of the time it isn't hunger. It's habit. It's boredom. It's the cue your brain has learned. Meal's over, now find something sweet. Brain is running a pattern. The only way to break that pattern is to create a gap between the impulse and the action. And 20 minutes is that gap. Not because it's a magical number, but that's just how long it takes. You can even try this with your kids. As soon as dinner's done, they're wanting dessert. Set a timer for 20 minutes and see how they feel. They might still want it, that's fine. But give them that 20-minute period and see how it goes. It's the same thing with us, with adults, because we never really grew out of that pattern. We just dress it up differently. For kids, it's dessert. For us, it's scrolling in the kitchen at 9 p.m. looking for something to eat. Set the timer, do something with your hands. Go wash up, go clean, go walk, watch 5 minutes of something, listen to a podcast. 20 minutes later, check in with yourself. The craving will almost always be gone. So again, the one rule here is after every meal, I'd say start with dinner. Before you touch anything else, set a 20-minute timer. Not a rough estimate, not a guess, an actual timer. Because a rough estimate, when it comes to this, always rounds down. And 9 times out of 10, the craving will be gone. And on the 10th time, if you're still genuinely hungry after the timer, eat something. Your body earned it, but at least you'll know it's real. All right, so number 7 is the post-meal walk. And this one gets people every time. After you've finished eating, don't go and sit down. It's the worst thing you can do for your blood sugar. Here's what's actually happening after you finish the meal. Your blood sugar spikes. Your body releases insulin to deal with it. And if you're sitting still, that glucose has nowhere useful to go. So your body does the only thing it can. It stores it. Now, if you flip that and you go for a 10-minute walk after you eat, everything changes. So first point about this is there's a protein inside of your muscles called GLUT4. When your muscles contract, even slightly, even gently, like when you're walking, G4 activates and pulls glucose directly out of your bloodstream. Not into your fat cells, into your muscles, where it's used as fuel. You're literally redirecting the energy from your meal to the place that you want it. Second thing is that blood sugar spike you get after eating, 10-minute walk when you're done food, a 10-minute walk cuts that by up to 50%. 50. There are medications prescribed for blood sugar that don't do that. And you can get that result just by moving after you eat. No gym, no equipment, just a walk. And point number 3 is the timing window on this one matters. You've got about 15 minutes after you've finished eating before your blood sugar peaks. That's your window. Walk in that window and you're catching the spike or the peak before it happens. Wait an hour and you've already missed it. The meal has already done its damage. And we've all done it, right? Nice big meal, sink into the couch for 2 hours, barely keeping our eyes open and wondering what's happening. That's not the food. That's your blood sugar spiking and crashing while you're sitting still and let it happen. So here's what I do now, what I tell every client. As soon as the meal is done, we're moving. Even if it's just laps around the kitchen while you're cleaning up. Even if it's standing and walking on the spot. 10 minutes post-meal. That's all it takes. So one rule, finish your meal, within 15 minutes, walk for 10. Outside if you can, but if you can only do it inside, do it inside. Around the house, clean up the kitchen, it doesn't matter, just get moving. What matters is that you're moving and your muscles are contracting and GLUT4 is doing its job. If I could just interrupt for a few minutes, if you've made it this far into the video, I hope that some of these things are going to help you in your journey, and I'd really appreciate it if you could, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and feel free to add a comment. It just helps. It's a free way that you can support the channel. And for a new channel like mine, it goes a long way into helping reach more people. So I really, really appreciate your time. And here's my promise. If you subscribe and continue to comment and like the videos, I will do my best to bring the most practical videos that will help you and hopefully give you some direction and clarity in this world of rather overwhelming knowledge of what you should and shouldn't do. Thanks very much. Let's get back to the video. All right, so the next one is mindless cardio. The best workout is the one you barely notice you're doing. Enter mindless cardio. There's a category of burning calories that most people completely ignore. It's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is a really complicated way of saying all the calories you burn when you're not actually exercising. Walking to the kitchen, fidgeting, taking the stairs, standing up. And here's the thing, NEAT can account for anywhere between 200 to 800 calories per day, all depending on how much activity you do outside of the gym. The gap is enormous. That's the difference between fat loss and maintenance for a lot of people. And most people are sitting at the low end without even realizing it. Mindless cardio is how you fix that without scheduling a single workout. So we'll set this up in 2 points. Point number 1, a walking pad. If you are somebody who works from home or you're in back-to-back meetings, get a walking pad that fits under your desk. You don't need to run. You don't even need to walk fast. 2 kilometers an hour while you're on a call or answering emails or looking at a presentation. You're barely moving, but over the course of a 2-hour meeting, you've put in 4 kilometers. That's 250 to 300 calories without ever putting in an intentional workout. You don't need to break a sweat. You don't need to track it unless you want to. You just need to be standing up instead of sitting down, and your body does the rest. The second thing is a stationary bike. You're watching the football tonight, watching Netflix after the kids go to bed, get on the bike, slow pace, it doesn't matter. Because here's what happens. You just stop thinking about the effort within 3 minutes of starting because your brain is somewhere else entirely. It's focusing on whatever show you're watching or whatever movie you're watching. The entertainment removes the resistance and you end up doing 40 minutes of cardio that felt like 10. And those are the 2 cheat codes for mindless cardio. Attach the movement to something you're already doing. Meetings, watching sport, watching a series, watching a movie, whatever it is, something that makes time disappear. Look, I've got 2 kids, I've got a life, there's things that are busy. Adding an extra hour of cardio to my life every day is just not an option. So I stopped trying to add more workouts because it wasn't happening anyway and started stacking movement onto things I was already doing. I walk during a call, I'll walk while I'm thinking about a presentation. My wife and I do it together. I'll jump on while she's sitting down and then we swap. We talk to each other while we're doing it. And then I looked at my step counter after a couple of weeks and I noticed my steps had doubled and I hadn't changed my training. I hadn't added a single scheduled workout either. I just stopped sitting still during the parts of my day where sitting wasn't actually necessary. And that's it. Stack the movement onto something you're already doing. Don't try to find or make new time. You already don't have it. You're already busy. So try and do it with something you're already doing. You don't need a gym session. You don't need a new workout. You need a walking pad or a stationary bike. You need a decision. And the decision is sitting down during a call or during TV time is not necessary. During TV time is optional, not mandatory. Walk while you watch. Walk while you work. Brain won't notice, but your body will. Combining entertainment with movement makes time fly. And the calories you burn while doing it, they add up faster than any workout you'll ever actually dread. All right, the next one is vitamin D. Most people trying to lose fat are walking around with a broken metabolism and they don't even know it. And one of the most common reasons is a deficiency in this one thing. And that thing is vitamin D. And before you say, yes, it's the sunshine vitamin, we all know we need it. That's not what I'm talking about here. Vitamin D is actually a steroid hormone precursor, and it's directly involved in testosterone production, insulin sensitivity, and your body's ability to regulate fat storage. When your levels are low, and most people's levels are low, especially for us in the UK or anywhere with limited winter sun, your body shifts into a kind of metabolic slow rate. Your body becomes better at storing fat than burning it. Your testosterone drops, your recovery from training suffers, and the worst part is you feel fine. You just can't figure out why the fat won't move. So here's 3 things that you need to remember. First things first, direct sunlight. 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight on your arms and legs, not through a window, not on a cloudy day, direct sun, skin exposed between roughly 11 and 2. That's when the UVB rays are strong enough to actually activate vitamin D synthesis. Morning and evening walks don't count for this. You need midday. Second point is if you can't get that sun consistently and directly, then you need to supplement. And the thing is, for most people living in the northern hemisphere, can't get that direct sunlight. And what you're looking for is around 2,000 to 4,000 IU per meal with the fat source. Because vitamin D is fat soluble. It needs fat to absorb properly, so don't take it on an empty stomach. And point number 3, and this is, most people miss this one, is you need to pair it with K2, specifically K2 MK-7. And here's why. When your vitamin D levels rise, your body absorbs more calcium, which is great for your bones, but without K2, that calcium has nowhere specific to go, and it can end up depositing in your arteries instead. K2 is the traffic controller. It directs the calcium to your bones and keeps your arteries clear. You don't take one without the other. And here's the bonus point that most people don't talk about, is magnesium. Your body needs magnesium to convert vitamin D into its active form. Without magnesium, you can supplement all you want and barely move your levels. And most people are magnesium deficient. So if you've been supplementing with vitamin D and seen no results, that's probably why. Vitamin D, K2, and magnesium. Those 3 work together. The sun gets the process started, the supplement fills the gap, the K2 protects you, and the magnesium makes it all work. I do always recommend for things like this to consult your doctor, and I would say it's a good idea to get your vitamin D levels checked. You can ask your GP for a 25OH vitamin D blood test. Optimal is between 60 to 80 nanomoles per liter. If you're below 50, and a lot of people are, fix it before you fix anything else in your fat loss plan. Because it's very hard to lose fat with a broken metabolic engine. And a lot of people are running on one without even knowing it. Sun when you can, supplement when you can't. K2 with it always, and check your magnesium while you're at it. Next one is the 3-hour rule. The worst decisions in your life when it comes to food have been made after 10 p.m. standing in front of an open fridge. And here's how to kill that habit for good. And here's the thing about eating late at night. It's not just about the calories, although they do add up quick. It's about the timing. It's about when you eat the food. Your body's insulin sensitivity drops significantly later in the evening, which means the same calories you eat at lunch get processed very differently later as the evening goes. More gets stored, less gets used. And on top of that, eating later directly affects your sleep quality. Your digestion is still running while your body is trying to recover. You sleep worse, you wake up hungrier, and the cycle starts all over again. Again, it's not a willpower problem, it's a timing problem. So the thing to do is close the kitchen 3 to 5 hours before you go to sleep. That's it. Pick your bedtime, let's say it's 10:30, count back 3 to 5 hours, and that's your cutoff. After that, the kitchen is closed. Not you're trying to eat less in the evening, not you're being mindful. It's closed, it's done, it's finished. And here's why making it a rule matters. Every decision you make at night about food is a bad one, because you're tired, you're bored, your willpower is drained from the day, and it's at its lowest point. The only way to win that fight is to not have it. A rule removes the decision entirely. You don't negotiate with yourself at 10 p.m. You just close the kitchen at 7:30. It's already done. 3 hours minimum. Work your way up to 5. Most people start at 3 and find that 5 actually feels better. But here's what will happen. You will feel hungry, especially in the first week. And here's what you do with that. You drink water. You can have a herbal tea. You could have your sleep tea that we discussed earlier in the video. Because here's what late night hunger actually is. Most of the time, it's a bad habit. It's boredom. It's your brain reaching for food because that's what you do at this time of night while you're watching your series, sitting on the couch. It's just a habit it's learned. Oh, I should be eating now. So it's not your body needing calories. It's running a script. Glass of water, a cup of tea, and in 10 minutes, that craving's gone because it wasn't real hunger. It's just routine. For me, for a lot of parents, the danger zone is once the kids are in bed. That's when the house goes quiet. That's when you get to sit down for the first time all day and your brain goes straight to the kitchen for a reward after a long day. And not because you're hungry, but because you have a minute to yourself, and usually food is the reward. And I get it, but that's 300 to 400 or more mindless calories at the end of the day, and at the worst time of the day to be eating them. You can close the kitchen at the same time the kids go to bed, and make it the same time every night. And after a short time, the habit rewires itself. So pick your bedtime, count back 3 hours. That's your cutoff. Write it on the kitchen whiteboard, put it on the fridge, text your partner, make it a rule, not a goal. Better sleep, better digestion. 300 to 400 fewer calories every night without a single moment of deprivation. The kitchen is closed. That's all it takes. All right, so the next one is what I like to call the sleep tea. This 3-ingredient tea before you go to bed will help improve the quality of your sleep. Here's something most of us never think about. Every night you sleep, your body is burning fat. Not in the gym, not on a walk, just lying there in the dark, running on stored energy. 7 hours of sleep is 7 hours of uninterrupted fat oxidation. But here's the thing. Bad sleep wrecks all of that. Poor sleep raises your cortisol, spikes your hunger hormones the next morning, and wrecks your insulin sensitivity. One bad night, you're fighting your own biology the next day. That's why I call sleep the time machine. See, you close your eyes, you go to sleep, and your body does the work. All you have to do is make sure that you don't interrupt that. So here's the 3 ingredients. Should take you about 5 minutes to make, maybe a little less. First thing is chamomile tea. Not just because it's relaxing. Chamomile contains something called apigenin. Apigenin binds to the same receptors in your brain that anti-anxiety medication targets, but it does it gently, naturally. It signals to your nervous system to start calming down, so you're not running through tomorrow's to-do list at midnight. The second ingredient is 5 grams of glycine. Stir it straight into the tea. Glycine is an amino acid, and its job here is very specific. It lowers your core body temperature just slightly, and that temperature drop is the signal your body uses to shift into deep restorative sleep. And more deep sleep means better recovery, better muscle retention, and better fat oxidation. One study showed participants using glycine before bed repeatedly before bed reported significantly less daytime fatigue. One study showed participants using glycine before bed reported significantly less daytime fatigue the next morning. It tastes slightly sweet, so don't ruin the tea. And ingredient number 3 is a pinch of salt. This one always surprises people. When you're in a calorie deficit or just running on stress, your cortisol stays elevated. High cortisol drops aldosterone, which is the hormone that tells your kidneys to hold on to sodium. When aldosterone drops, you lose sodium through urine, and your kidneys keep filtering to compensate, which is why you're up at 3 a.m. A tiny pinch of sea salt stabilizes that. Keeps you asleep, doesn't spike your blood pressure, it just does its job quietly. All right, so the next one on the list is, it's going to sound weird, but if you want to start feeling fuller for longer and eat less without trying, then you need to start Chewmaxxing. Earlier in the video, I was speaking about eating slower, and this is the mechanism behind why it actually works. Here's the thing, your brain takes roughly 20 minutes to receive the fullness signal from your stomach. 20 minutes. Which means if you eat fast, and most of us eat fast, especially with kids at the table, you've already eaten past the point of fullness before your brain has even registered it. You can't outthink that signal, but you can buy yourself more time. And the way you buy yourself more time is by chewing more. Now they say you need to aim around 20 to 40 chews per mouthful. And I know that sounds like a lot, but most people are doing 6 to 8, if that. And here's what happens when you actually do it. You slow the whole process down. You give your satiety hormones a chance to do their job, and you turn your food into actual liquid before it hits your stomach, which means your digestion does less work and your body spends more energy processing it. So how do you do all of this? You need to count your chews, not forever, just for a week. 20 to 40 per mouthful. Start with 20 if 40 sounds insane. The goal is to chew the food until it's liquid. No chunks, no texture left, liquid. And here's the thing, the first time you do this with a meal, you'll be genuinely surprised. First, by how much food you still have on your plate by the time you feel full. And second, how fast the meal feels like it's taking, despite the fact that you're eating less quickly. Put your fork down between bites. We talked about that earlier in the list as well. This is the same principle. You're removing the urge to rush. Each bite gets finished before the next one starts. 20 chews minimum. Liquid, then swallow. Then pick up the fork again. And there's a second reason this works that nobody talks about. Digestion actually starts in your mouth. Your saliva contains amylase, an enzyme that begins breaking down carbohydrates before it even hits your stomach. Have you ever had that sense that you know food's coming and your mouth starts to water? That's the enzymes in your mouth getting ready to do their job. The more you chew, the more surface area you create, the more amylase gets to work, and the less strain you put on your digestion system down the road. People spend a fortune on gut enzymes and digestion supplements. Some of that starts for free with how long you chew your food. 20 to 40 chews per mouthful. Start at 20 and work up. Put the fork down between bites and aim to turn every mouthful into liquid before you swallow. It's free, it requires no equipment, and it makes every meal you already eat more effective. That's a cheat code. Okay, so number 13, Psyllium Husk. And this is one of the best fat loss tools just nobody talks about. It's probably a bit of a cheat. You've probably walked past it a million times in the health aisle and had no idea what it was. It looks like sawdust, costs almost nothing, and it's one of the most effective appetite suppressants you can legally buy. And here's the thing, it's not a drug, it's not a stimulant, it's not even really a supplement. It's just fiber, soluble fiber. But what it does in your body is genuinely impressive. So when Psyllium Husk hits water, it expands. We're talking about up to 10 times its original size. So when you take it before a meal, it's already physically filling your stomach before a single calorie has gone in. You sit down to eat already partially full, which means you eat less without even trying. Another point is it slows everything down. The rate at which food leaves your stomach is significantly slowed down when Psyllium Husk is in there, which means you stay fuller for longer. That post-lunch hunger feeling that hits you after 3 p.m., it's gone because your body is still processing the meal it ate 2 hours ago. And another interesting thing is when you take Psyllium Husk, your blood sugar stays stable. When digestion slows down, glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually. No spikes, no crash, no desperately needing something sweet at 4 p.m. That blood sugar roller coaster is one of the biggest drivers of overeating, and Psyllium Husk quietly flattens it. So here's how you use it. 2 tablespoons in a glass of water before every meal. Mix it fast, drink it faster. Because here's the thing, Psyllium Husk doesn't wait for you. You've got about 30 seconds before it turns into something closer to gel than to water. So you mix it, you chug it, and you move on. But I will caveat that you need to drink lots of water with this. Lots and lots of water. And then you wait. And by the time you sit down, your stomach already has something in it. You'll be surprised how much less you need to feel satisfied. So how to use it practically, I would recommend doing the 2 tablespoons with a lot of water before your biggest meal of the day. Start there and you can work up to twice a day as your body adjusts. And I'd say go gradually because your gut will notice the increase in fiber if you go too hard too fast. So do it slowly, take your time, allow your body to understand what's happening and see how much it changes you. All right, the next one is smaller plates. Your eyes are the doorway to your hunger, and right now your plate is lying to you. There's a psychological phenomenon called the Delbuff illusion. Here's what it says. The exact same portion of food looks smaller on a larger plate than it does on a smaller plate. Same food, same quantity, different plates. Your brain sees it as a different amount. And here's the thing. Your brain doesn't just see it differently. It responds to it differently. Studies have shown that people will eat around 20 to 30% more when they use a large plate. Not because they're hungrier, but because their eyes were telling them that the portion was smaller than it actually was. So they kept going. You haven't got a willpower problem. You've got a plate size problem. So here's the cheat code. Swap your dinner plates with slightly smaller ones. Most dinner plates average between 28 and 30 centimeters. Drop that down to 22 to 24 centimeters. That's it. No calorie counting, no measuring, just a smaller plate. When that smaller plate looks full, your brain registers a full portion. You eat it, you feel satisfied, and you've eaten 20 to 30% fewer calories without once ever feeling like you were on a diet. Same trick works for bowls. Smaller bowls for soup, smaller bowls for cereal, smaller bowls for pasta. Whatever your high volume meals are. The fuller it looks, the less you need to eat to feel like you've had enough. And here's another point to remember. Serve from the kitchen, not from the table. When the pot or the pan is sitting in the middle of the dinner table in front of you, you're one arm's reach from a second portion. Put it away before you sit down. Out of sight, out of mind. Your eyes can't eat what they can't see. So get smaller plates, same food, same meals, just less of it. And your brain won't notice the difference. When the plate looks full, you feel full. And it's not a trick. That's just how your brain works. And once you know it, you can use it. Easiest calorie cut you'll ever do is by changing the size of your plates and your bowls. All right, the next one is stay busy. A busy mind doesn't graze. An idle one raids the pantry. And most of us never make that connection. Here's the thing about boredom eating. Most people talk about it like it's a willpower problem. Like you just need more discipline to not go and eat everything in sight at 9 o'clock at night. Your brain is an engine. And an engine left running with nowhere to go will find something to burn. If you give it nothing to do, it will go and find stimulation. And in most homes, the most available source of stimulation for the brain is the kitchen. Food isn't just fuel. It gives you something to do, something to feel, something to taste, something to enjoy, something to do with your hands. It's sensory. And a bored brain will reach for sensory every single time, especially when you're tired, and especially when you're winding down and the day's ending and there's nothing left for you to do. So what can you do? You need to fill that gap, not with food, but with something. So here's what you need to do, is you need to find your danger window. For most people, it's the same 90 minutes every single night, after dinner, before bed. That's the window your brain goes idle. Know it, plan for it. Second thing is have something ready. Not in theory, but actually ready. A book you're reading or a show you're genuinely into, not just scrolling on the TV. A hobby that uses your hands, something. Because the only way to beat an idle brain is to give it something to do before it goes and looks for something. Point number 3 is get out of the house if you can. Go for a walk with the kids after dinner. Doesn't have to be long. You're moving, you're away from the kitchen. Your brain is not idle. You're burning a small amount of calories and you're giving your brain something to do. And here's the thing, by the time you come back home, the craving's gone because it was never hunger. It was just an empty slot in the schedule. I've said this before, the danger window usually is after the kids go to bed. The house goes quiet, you're winding down. And your brain, which has been running at full speed since 6 o'clock this morning, suddenly has nothing to do. And it immediately thinks about food. The nights that I eat the worst is when I have nothing planned to do. The nights that I don't are when I have something planned and something that fills that danger window. Even something simple as a walk or reading for 20 minutes. Stimulate the brain. The difference isn't discipline. It's whether or not that slot has been filled or not. A busy mind doesn't graze, so stay busy. Fill the gap before your brain fills it for you. Identify your danger window, have something ready for it, and if you can, get outside, even briefly. The 90 minutes between dinner and bed is where a lot of fat loss is quietly won or lost. Idle time costs you. Fill it. All right, so the next one I like to call the big 6. Not all calories are created equal, so focus on these 6 nutrients to feel full on less food. We've all heard the calories in, calories out argument, and look, it's not wrong, but it's not the whole picture, because 500 calories of processed food and 500 calories of whole nutrient-dense food does something completely different to the body. One keeps you full for hours, the other one has you hungry again in 45 minutes. And here's the thing, it comes down to these 6 nutrients. Get these right and your body stops fighting you and it just feels satisfied. So what are the 6? Protein, potassium, sodium, fiber, B5, and folate. So we'll start with protein first. Protein in every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Protein first. Protein triggers the release of satiety hormones. Your body literally sends a "I'm full" signal to your brain faster than any other macronutrient. And it costs more calories just to digest it. Usually we would say around 30 grams of protein per meal, but that very much depends on you specifically and what your targets are. The second one we can look at is potassium. Most people are chronically low on potassium. Potassium regulates fluid balance, which means less bloating, less water retention, and muscles that actually work properly during training. Bananas, avocados, sweet potato, these are your friends. Third one is fiber. Now we covered this a little bit with the Psyllium Husk point, but it goes beyond supplementing fiber. Fiber in your whole foods slows down digestion as well. The slower food takes to move through your body, the longer you feel full. Hit 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day from real food. Fourth one, sodium. Now this one surprises people. Sodium isn't the enemy. The wrong amount of sodium is. Too little and you get cravings. Too much and you retain water and feel sluggish. The goal here is balance, not elimination. Cut out processed food sodium and take a pinch of high quality salt and your body will thank you. The fifth one is B5 or pantothenic acid. Boring name, important job. B5 is what your body uses to convert fat into usable energy. If you're in a caloric deficit with low energy, low B5 is usually the cause. Eggs, mushrooms, avocado. Easy to hit if you're eating whole foods. And the sixth one is folate. When you're in a calorie deficit, your body is under more repair demand than usual. Folate supports cell repair and DNA synthesis. It keeps your body functioning properly while you're in a cut. Dark leafy greens, lentils, done. I don't track every single micronutrient in every single meal. However, I can do that through the app I use, Chronometer, and I'll pop a link down below for you to sign up for free. I always build my meals around protein first, and I always have a good source of fiber on the plate. When you're eating whole foods, the rest of the micronutrients take care of themselves. And here's the thing, when I do that consistently, make sure there's protein, good source of fiber, I don't feel as hungry as often. I'm no longer fighting hunger. I'm not white knuckling it through the afternoon waiting for supper. My body just feels settled. And that's what nutrient density does. It's not complicated, it's just intentional. So you don't need to memorize this list. The simple way to do it is just to build your meals around protein and fiber first. The rest of the 6 follow naturally when you're eating whole foods. So stop chasing low-calorie options and start chasing nutrient-dense options. The difference in how full you feel will do more for your fat loss than any diet plan you've ever tried. All right, so this next one is called Lean Body Glop. This breakfast looks absolutely disgusting, but it's how you're going to drop body fat. Here's the thing about breakfast. Most people either skip it, grab something quick that's basically just carbs, or end up being so hungry by 11 a.m. they eat everything in sight. And the reason is simple. They're not hitting protein first thing in the morning. Protein keeps you full. It controls your hunger hormones for the next 4 to 5 hours. It preserves your muscle while you're in a calorie deficit. And most people are maybe getting 15 grams at breakfast, if that. This one meal fixes all of it. And I didn't invent it. I'll be straight with you. I came across this from another coach called Dan Go. And the recipe is simple. There's 4 ingredients. It takes 2 minutes, and here's what goes into it. First things first, 250 grams of Greek yogurt. Low fat, fat-free, doesn't matter. Greek yogurt is already a powerhouse. We're around 20 grams of protein now before we've added anything else. And the Greek yogurt is the base that holds it all together. Second ingredient is 1 scoop of protein powder. The flavoring is your choice. For this one specifically, we're using vanilla protein powder. You stir that straight into the yogurt in the bowl. You're now sitting at around 40 to 45 grams of protein in that bowl. And we haven't finished yet. And you can pick whatever protein powder you're using. We're not precious about it. Ingredient number 3 is a tablespoon of Psyllium Husk. You've already heard me talk about this one. It expands, it slows digestion, and it keeps hunger locked down for hours. And it also thickens the whole mixture. And depending on your perspective, it's either a feature or the main reason why this whole thing looks like cement. And the 4th ingredient is frozen fruit. Just a handful. Berries work best. Blueberries, raspberries mixed together. They thaw slightly as you eat. They add sweetness without sugar spiking anything. And honestly, they're the only thing in this bowl that looks slightly appealing. So let's look at the numbers. Around 350 calories, around 50 grams of protein in a bowl that takes less than 2 minutes to make. Think about what that means practically. Your daily target is somebody who's trying to lose fat. It's probably around, 150 to 180 grams of protein. You've hit a third of that before you've left the house, before you've had your first meeting, before you've done the school run, or whatever else the day is going to throw at you. The rest of the day becomes easier because you're not fighting hunger. You're not making decisions when you're already starving. You've already done the heavy lifting. And that's what I mean when I say you're making fat loss feel automatic. And the thing is, you may not look forward to eating it, but that's the point. You're not doing it specifically for taste and things like that. The leanest people, they'll eat the same meals all the time. Sometimes they may even get bored of what they're eating, but there's a reason why they're doing it. And that's the whole point. You're not meant to love it. You're meant to not think about food for the next 4 to 5 hours. And this will deliver on that every single time. So just to sum up the recipe, 250 grams of Greek yogurt, 1 scoop protein powder, tablespoon of Psyllium Husk, and your mixed frozen berries. Stir it all together and eat it before it stares at you for too long. 350 calories, 50 grams of protein, and a morning where fat loss happens without you even having to think about it. It looks disgusting. It works. The next one is the 12-3-30 method, and I'll explain it. You don't need to run to burn fat. In fact, most people, especially people with knee or hip issues, or anyone who's getting back into training, running might be the worst tool for the job. So let me give you a better one. Here's the thing about running. People think it's the gold standard for cardio, and it can be if your joints can handle it, if your body is conditioned for it, and if you're not already asking your body to recover from weight training 3 times a week. But for most of us who are trying to lose fat, we aren't elite athletes. We're busy parents. We have hectic jobs. We're just carrying a bit of extra weight that we want to get rid of, right? Our knees aren't what they used to be when we were 20 and 25. And when most of us try to run, we get injured, we hate it, and then we stop. And then the thought goes through our head that cardio isn't for us. And it isn't that cardio wasn't right for you, it's just running isn't the right tool. So 3 numbers, 12, 3, 30. So we'll start with 12. First things first, 12% incline. That's your gradient on the treadmill. 12% may feel steep the first time. It is steep, but you're not running. And at that gradient, your body is working significantly harder than it looks like it should be for someone just walking. Your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves are all under tension at that gradient. And the second thing, the 3, is 3 miles per hour. That's the speed at which you're going to walk that gradient. It's a brisk walking pace. And how to judge it is you should be able to hold a conversation. You shouldn't be completely out of breath that you can't talk to someone, but it shouldn't be like this. It should be a little harder than this while you're walking at that speed. If you're comfortable enough to forget you're walking and to scroll your phone, take it up a little bit, go to 3.2. The point there is mild discomfort, not agony, not begging for it to end. And third is the 30. You're going to be walking at 12% gradient at 3 miles per hour for 30 minutes. That's the total time, 30 minutes, half an hour. And in that time window, you should be burning anywhere between 300 to 400 calories, depending on your current weight and your fitness level, which is comparable to a 30-minute jog for most people, without a single impact on any of your joints. Every step is a controlled movement. Your knees aren't absorbing the repetitive shock of running. Your body is working hard, but your body is also working smart. And here's the thing, this is your active recovery day. Besides your weight training, these are the days that you don't do weight training. And the biggest mistake most people make during fat loss is treating those rest days as genuinely doing nothing. Your metabolism doesn't get a rest day. Keep it ticking. The 12-3-30 is low enough impact that it doesn't add to your recovery debt, but high enough intensity that it's genuinely burning calories and keeping your cardiovascular system working. It's a very specific sweet spot and it's hard to hit with running. The thing is, it's the good kind of hard. The kind where you finish 30 minutes later, you feel like you've done some work, but your knees don't feel like it. And your knees feel fine. So if you have access to a treadmill, whether it's at home or at the gym, try this on your next recovery day. 12%, 3 miles per hour for 30 minutes. Don't touch your phone. Don't hold on to the side rails if you can help it, as it reduces the calorie burn. You don't need to run to burn fat. You just need the right tools. We've been through 18 cheat codes for fat loss. Supplements, systems, timing, all of it is real and all of it works. But none of it works without this one that I'm going to tell you about. And that's not some fancy hook to get you to stay to watch the whole thing. This is really the one that nobody talks about. Fat loss is a psychological game disguised as a physical one. Here's the thing. You can take every single one of the tips or cheat codes that I've given you in this video, apply them all, follow it perfectly. The Psyllium Husk in the morning, the sleep tea at night, the 12-3-30 on your rest days, the 3-hour rule, all of it. And most people do, but for about 2 weeks. And then something happens, a hard day at work, family dinner that goes sideways, a weekend where the routine falls apart and they stop. And they tell themselves, I'll restart on Monday. And Monday comes around and the version of themselves who is doing all those things feels like a completely different person. That's not a willpower problem. That's an identity problem. And here's the thing about people who stay consistent long term. It's not that they're more disciplined than you. It has nothing to do with that. It's not that they never want the biscuit at 9 o'clock at night, because they do. It's just that they have a different answer to the question that everybody asks. Who am I? Most people trying to lose fat tell themselves, I'm someone who's trying to eat better, or I'm working on being healthier. And that's a story built on trying. And trying means you're not quite there yet. And not quite there yet is very easy to abandon. The shift is small, but it changes everything. I'm someone who takes care of my body. Not trying, I just do. This is who I am. This is what I do. Because here's what happens when that identity shifts. You stop arguing with yourself. When the biscuits are out at 9 p.m., the person who is trying to eat better has a full-on negotiation with themselves. Did I do enough today? Can I have one? Just one. And that's exhausting. The person who's taking care of their body just doesn't eat them. Not because of willpower, but it doesn't fit in with their identity. I talked earlier in the video about the 3-hour rule, not eating 3 hours before bedtime. the only way to win that fight is to not have it. And the mind game is why. Because the fight at 9 p.m. is never really about food. It's about the story you tell yourself after a hard day. I've held it together all day. I've done good. I've done everything right. I deserve this. That's not hunger. That's a reward system. That's a relationship with food that runs deeper than any diet plan. If you've ever stood in front of the fridge at 9:30 at night, not because you were hungry, but because you earned it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. The meal plan or the diet doesn't fix that. Your identity will. I've been in fitness for 20 years. I knew the science. The information was never the problem. What changed, what actually changed, was at the point which I stopped thinking that health was something to chase and thinking it of something I just was. I'm 37 this year. I have 2 boys. I don't have more time than anybody else. I don't have more willpower than you, but I have a very clear sense of who I am when it comes to my health. And that clarity makes most of the decisions automatic. And that's what I want for you. Not a meal plan, not another workout to follow, a new story. 18 of the 19 things in this video are tactics. Real tactics that work, but tactics need an operating system to run on. And your identity is that operating system. Fix the mind and the body follows. That's not a motivational poster or a quote. That's the actual mechanism. Every tactic or every cheat code, whatever you want to call them, that I've given you today becomes easy when who you are supports it. And every single one of them becomes hard when it doesn't. That's the 19th cheat code. And honestly, it's the one that makes the other 18 stick. And if you've made it this far, through all 19 cheat codes, you're already the kind of person who takes this seriously. And that's not nothing. That's actually where it starts. I really hope this video has helped you in some way, and maybe it's given you a starting point. As always, if it did help you, and as always, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free and it does support me. Also, if you wouldn't mind giving it a thumbs up, that'll just give YouTube the nudge to send it to a bit more people, that it can hopefully help them through the same struggle that you were going through. Thank you so much for watching. And if you didn't know, the AI algorithm in YouTube will recommend a video on one of these sides here. So hopefully that video means something to you. And if it's one of mine, please feel free to watch it. I'll see you in the next one.